Okay, welcome back to Blender. So today we're going to be making a clock model. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and delete the default cube. Let's go with add, and we'll go with cylinder. Let's go S for scale, bring it up a little bit, and then I'm just going to go S for scale just to bring this down a little bit using the axes, and then I'm going to go R for rotate, and we'll go by 90. So let's go with edit mode. And we'll take the front face right here. I'm just going to go ahead and just squish this down just ever so slightly. So let's press G, bring this forward, bring this back even, and then we're going to go E for extrude, bring this forward, and then I'm just going to go ahead and scale this in just ever so slightly, just to give it that nice little bevel, and then an E for extrude again, and we'll go ahead and just scale this in to the center as such. So let's go back to object mode, right click shade smooth. I'm going to go ahead and bring this up, so let's press G, bring it up. And I'm going to go ahead and add a plane just on the back, so R for rotate, and then we can go ahead and press 90, S for scale, and then just go ahead and place this just at the back as such. So we have our lighting here as well, so let's go ahead and just go into the next render part right here that we have, which is the viewport shading. I'm going to go ahead and change my render engine from Eevee to cycles so that we've got better detail, which we have right here. So this little part in the middle right here, we're going to need some texture, so let's go with material. You know, actually I'm going to go with textures afterwards. I'm going to make everything first, and then I'll show you how to do the textures. So all we need to do is let's go ahead and let's go for a cube. I'm just going to go ahead and press S for scale, scale this down, just make it kind of like a really thin part. So let's go with G, and I'm going to go ahead and make this as the 12 parts of the clock. So let's go with G to bring that up, and just go ahead and sit this at 12 o'clock. So once we've got this, I'm just going to scale this down just ever so slightly, just top to bottom. I'm going to go, let's go Shift D duplicate, just duplicate this over just ever so slightly, and then put these back in the center. So let's go G, bring these back. I'm going to go ahead and make a gold texture just for this one, and I understand that I didn't do the background, but I want to do a little bit more with the background than just gold. So yeah, let's make this metallic, turn the roughness down. So when we go into the render, we can now see that we have the gold. Now this one hasn't turned gold, but this one has, so all you need to do is go down to the drop down menu right here on the materials tab and click the gold material. So what we're going to do, let's go ahead and take these two, so Shift and click them both. We're going to go Shift D to duplicate and bring them down as such, so that it just sit this side. We're going to go ahead and click all four, Shift D to duplicate them, click, leave it where it is, R for rotate, and you want to go ahead and do this on the axis which is pointing outside of the clock, which is the X. So we're going to go with 90 for 90 degrees. Let's go ahead and click everything again. And I'm going to go for Shift D, and we're going to go for rotate, just across those axes. So now you want to go ahead and kind of go half and half, so maybe like a third in, just EST. We'll go ahead with a do Shift D again, click, let's go R for rotate, and we'll go in the middle right there. So now we have this nice little clock face going on. We're going to need something in the middle right here, so I'm going to go ahead and take this background right here, and I'm just going to go ahead and Shift D, duplicate the background, S for scale, bring it in. This is going to be the center of the clock right here, so let's go S for scale, just bring this outwards just a little bit. So we've got this nice little point in the middle, and I'm going to go ahead and go to the drop down and go with the same gold that we have for the outside of the clock right here. So, what we can do now is let's make the arms of the clock. You can go ahead and take these two actually. You can go with, let's go Shift D, bring this down. S for scale, you're going to want one large hand and one small hand. So let's go ahead and just scale this out just a little bit more so it's as a clock hand should look. You're going to want to go ahead and take this up with G. Just place this in the middle. So as well, you're going to need to bring it across from the board itself. So let's go with G. Bring this to the top. You might need to amend your little pin right here. So let's go S for scale. Ooh, sugar. We could bring that down a little bit. Let's bring this out. S for scale again. Make it a little bit longer. Okay, something like that. Okay, so this large hand can't interact with the back that we have right here. I'm just going to go ahead and just move this background just forward just ever so slightly so it's clipping a little bit more. And then I'm going to go ahead and move this arm just outwards just ever so slightly. So now we have the minute hand, which is a little bit too long for my liking, but we have the minute hand. The next thing that we're going to make is let's go ahead and make the hour hand, which is going to be a little bit thicker. So let's go Shift D. I'm going to go ahead and just bring this back as such. Let's just scale this outwards just a little bit so we can see the difference, and then scale it downwards. And we'll place that just on the edge right there, as such. You can do a second hand if you want to, totally up to you. I guess we could do a second hand. I'm just going to move these two forward, backwards a little bit, and then the second hand you can take first. Let's go Shift D, move this up a little bit, scale this downwards ever so slightly and make it a bit thinner. That could be your second hand. Let's go with G, bring that back. You might need to just arrange them just a little bit. So let's move this a little bit closer. That one a little bit inwards, come on, inwards, there we go. And then this one, it is supposed to be thicker, which is okay. And then what we can do is we can start to rotate these. So you're probably going to have to take the small hand, let's alpha rotate on the X, and then just kind of reposition it to where you need it to be as in regards to the clock as such. And then we could take this hand right here, the hour hand, again alpha rotate, just kind of line it up with the clock as such. And then we could go ahead and just drop this down really and alpha rotate again. So once we've got this, we can make the background for the clock. I'm going to go ahead and make the backdrop right here kind of like a black or a grey. Just kind of offset that just a little bit more. So we've got a nice little clock going on right there. Let's go with this background. Let's work with this. So we can go new material. We're going to go with clock back. Let's go to the shading tab. And let's go ahead and add, we can add any texture from this listing, from the add. So we could go with Veroni if you wanted to. I mean, Veroni will give you kind of like patterns, kind of like shattered glass kind of look, or yeah, anything of akin to that. Gabor, I think, is more circle ones. If I put Gabor in here, let's go value to base colour. That's Gabor. It's almost like an ocean. Let's get rid of that one. Let's go add. I think Magic Texture is the one with all the patterns on it. So you can go colour to base colour. You got something funky like that, you can distort it. It's kind of trippy. Yeah, let's take that one off. Let's put add. We've got texture. You've got gradient texture. You've got color to base color. And this is what it'll do. It'll kind of give like this kind of darker tones up here, lighter tones up here, depending on what you want. I would add a colour ramp with that, to be honest with you, so you can control that a little bit better. I mean, that's what you get with that. Let's go and delete that one just real quick. I just want to show you some of this. You've got environment texture, you've got brick texture, you've got checker texture. If that's something that you want for a clock, maybe it's for race cars or something like that, checker texture. And you've got all these little rings coming around the outside. I mean, it's an idea. It's an idea if you want that. You can change the colours and the tones on this as well. I think I might go with this one actually. It's nice. So you can have like black and white. Change it to green if you want to. Change the white. I kind of like that actually. Yeah, it's an idea. What it would do is turn up the metallic just a little bit, just to kind of pull some of those colours out a little bit more, and maybe the roughness down. You could have the roughness up if you wanted the gold to pop a little bit more. But if we have that on full render, that's what it would look like. Now, what I would suggest that you do is place this in a scene or something, because on its own it doesn't really look too great. Let's go with layers. I'm going to add a plane. Let's make my own lighting at the moment. So let's go S for scale, bring this out. I'm going to go ahead and just rotate this by 90. S for scale downwards, and then I'm going to make this an emission. So let's go with new on the materials tab. Switch out the principal BSCF for emission, and then I'm just going to go and layer this upwards as such. And what this is going to do, it's going to give some nice little reflections, and it's going to buffer out some of those shadows as well to give it an all-round lighting. It looks a little bit more natural, I would say, for a studio. Definitely for indoor light it looks a little bit more natural than just a lamp. For outdoors, what I would suggest is, where's that lamp gone? Yeah, so if we've got our little light source right here, you've got sun as well, you can do that. But, or you've got spotlight. Spotlight's pretty good if you want some effects doing, but you can expose that a little bit. You can go ahead and rotate this actually, and then make it bigger. Let's turn on that exposure, and then the radius. Make that radius a little bit more bigger. I mean, it's totally up to you what you want to do with your design. Sorry, I'm just experimenting 1 second. Let's pull the power on that. And exposure, let's put that up just slightly. So you've got something like that. Maybe make that wall in the background just a little bit darker and turn up the roughness. It's almost like a spotlight on a wall now. And then you can take these ones at the back, the emissions that you've just made, and you can pull these down. So you've got something like that. I mean, that's like a total light change, I think. I think it looks, kind of looks like a pub kind of setting, I don't know, like if you go play poker or something like that. But yeah, I'm just experimenting at the moment. You guys can do what you want with your lighting, it's fine. Yeah, I'm going to turn the exposure down and turn these strip lights back up actually, because I like these strip lights, they're nice. Yeah, so that's surreal for today. If you guys liked, please give me a follow. I'd really appreciate it. And I will see you in the next one. Have fun.